What's up, guys? It's your girl Haley Pro, aka the SoundChick here. Featured for today's interview, we have the founder of drumhelper.com, Gideon Waxman. Gideon, being a professional drummer himself, wanted to create something not only personal, but also something quite useful so that rising drummers in this industry can continue to grow and be successful as they continue out this journey. Visiting the Drum Helper blog, you can get into insightful articles, watch tutorials, and even read news, all created by Gideon himself. During our chat, we discuss this a little bit more and we get into the inner workings of it all, which is all very exciting. So if you're a rising artist in this industry and you want to learn more about Drum Helper and learning about more useful tips that you can check out, definitely keep on listening to this interview. You need to hear about this.
I'm Gideon Waxman. I'm the owner of Drum Helper, and yeah, I'm here for this interview.
To kick it off, I know that you told me a little bit about your history with music. Let's go ahead and dive into that again. I know you already said it, so my apologies for making you repeat it, but your story is kind of unique. You got into it at a very young age. I know that you were obsessed with the hardware of drums, so take me through that again. Like, when did you discover that you really, really, really loved what you're doing right now?
Cool. No, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, from a very young age, when we're talking like maybe like 7 or 8, like my parents pushed me to learn piano, and I just hated it. I did not enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
I'd run away like when my piano teacher would come, and I just did not get it. And like I even look back now, I'm just like, that's not cool. Like even halfway through the lessons, I'll be like how long have we got left? I
Yeah.
was just, yeah, like not an ideal student at all. I was not like into music then. But then like I must have been about 9, a couple years passed where like I just started listening to music like my 2 older sisters had, stuff like Linkin Park. And I would listen to it and I'd be like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like I just started really enjoying it. I'd listen to like Eminem and Linkin Park just in my room, like playing the CDs. I'd really enjoy it. And then I got fascinated by drums, and I just really like something was just pulled me in, and I was just obsessed like instantly. I just wanted to learn to play drums. I wanted a drum set. I ended up speaking to like begging my parents, can I get a drum set, please? I want to play. And they just thought, yeah, he'd just give it up. That's it. He just get him to like shut him up, whatever, for like
Yeah.
Christmas. And I just never stopped. I wasn't great. Like I wasn't good to start off with. I just kept doing it. I took it upon myself to like learn more, listen to like more music, and try and copy what I was hearing and just make it a real thing.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of just snowballed, and I never stopped. And yeah, I mean, like 16 years later, I'm still playing, and now I'm teaching and sharing my expertise and all the things that have helped me, sharing the mistakes, the things that have like hindered me, and just sharing my journey. So
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. That's awesome. I think that that's really cool. Was it a particular drummer or a band that made you fall in love with drums, or was it just kind of random for you?
So it was literally just drums, like just the drum. Like it wasn't necessarily a drummer, even though like Travis Barker was a big one. Like he was just like the drummer I wanted to be.
Right.
But it's more just like hearing how the drums sounded in music, like how a drum beat and a groove works within a musical context. Like I just remember hearing on the radio, listening to my sister's records, and just thinking like, wow, like the drums, it moves the music. It literally is the backbone of the song. Like it sounds so cool, and that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to do. And like the equipment looked so cool, how the drum set all fits together, how cool it looks on stage. So
Yeah.
it was exactly that, like just the instrument itself pulled me in.
That's awesome. I love that. The drummer really is the backbone. Like I genuinely agree with that, especially during live performances. They really drive the whole energy level
Oh,
of
for
the
sure.
crowd and the rest of the band. Yeah.
I mean, imagine like any recorded music for like, I'm not going to say every musical style. I know drums encompass every style of music,
Right.
but I mean, yeah, no, they do. Like literally the most versatile instrument, found
Yeah.
in every culture ever to exist. And literally in more styles of music, there's drums than anything else. I mean, you can go as far as like classical music, timpani and bass, and just a bass drum and a snare drum are still drums. You can
Yeah.
still go into any style. But imagine any recorded music without drums, just like a pop song or a rock track without drums. Like it would just be awkward. It would
Yeah,
literally just not feel like music.
I don't think I would like that
No,
because
I don't
I
think
mean,
anyone would.
yeah, yeah, No, I don't think it would. I don't think it would sound the
No,
same.
the drummer is like the hero behind the scenes, doesn't necessarily get the most attention or praise. It's at the back of the stage, but the drummer is the guy. He's the guy, okay, or she.
Yeah,
There's plenty of
yeah,
amazing female drummers as well. He or she is the guy.
yeah. I completely agree. Let's talk about you tutoring for a little bit. So when did you start tutoring?
So I actually started tutoring when I actually, even before I went to uni. So I actually started teaching drums when I was around like 17.
Mhm.
I'm 26 now, so I've been teaching for a little while. I really enjoy seeing my students get to a level, where they'll do an exam and, like improve their skills, their communication skills, their coordination, their rhythmic ability. It's so
Yeah.
funny. Like everyone has a basic understanding of rhythm. Everyone really enjoys like clapping to a beat or like stamping their foot. Like the drums is literally just that. If you can like clap in time to a song, you can play the drums. You just got to arrange your limbs differently. You got to arrange how you sit and how you move behind the drum set. But it's just rhythm, bit of
Mhm.
coordination, rhythm. You can do it, and I enjoy like instilling that sense. I mean, that's the most fundamental aspect. You can get very, very complex with it, but like at its most basic level,
Mhm.
that's all drumming is. So I enjoy getting that and building that up with my students to somewhere where like they can play something they would never have thought they could where they'd be. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, absolutely. I would assume that during your lockdown right now, you're probably not tutoring in person.
That's
But
right.
are you tutoring like virtually right now?
Yeah, yeah. I'm tutoring virtually. I'm spending a lot of my time and resource on enhancing the content that's on Drum Helper,
Right.
new content. That way
Mhm.
hopefully it can reach a bigger market. But I do teach online, and I'm finding that it's a little frustrating just because I'm a very like hands-on. I really like showing if one of my students isn't quite getting something. I'm quick to be like, now this is how you do it, because that's how I always learn. Like
Right.
I remember asking my drum tutor, I would like, I don't quite understand that groove. Can you play it for me? Can you demonstrate it? So I'm a very much like an active learner.
Mhm.
So I'm not really the tutor that's like, I mean, I'll let my students figure it out, like let them make their own mistakes and learn from that. But like if they're really struggling on something for a long time, then I'm gonna let them hear how it sounds, and in that way they
Absolutely.
can learn from that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't do that online.
Yeah.
It's
And
much more difficult, especially when
yeah.
I'm like, stop, like if they're playing and they don't, and they might be looping like a phrase, like a 4-bar phrase,
Right.
just on the kit, and they're doing it, and it's not. I've got suggestions on how to like improve how this sounds, and it's
Mhm.
hard for me to kind of just interject and be like, hang on, like that's where it should be. Online,
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Right. Ah, God, yeah, that would be really difficult. But I mean, I think that it's still really cool that you are still making an attempt to do it, given the time that we're in,
Yeah,
and being able to adapt to any situation, especially for a musician, is pretty key. So I think that that's still really cool that you are still continuing doing it right now.
yeah.
Did you start the Drum Helper website around the same time, 17, or was it a little bit later when you started it?
No. So yeah, it's much more recent than that. So I actually
Okay.
started Drum Helper only about just over 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's literally about, I don't know, like 2 years and like 4 months or something. But that's so much more recent. This was after I finished university, and yeah, it's carried on since then. But I mean, in that regard, it is recent. But I mean, I've been able to apply then all the things I've learned throughout going to university and studying music
Mhm.
and being in several bands and having toured and played festivals and that sort of stuff. So I mean, that way I've actually had more experience to kind of use as like
Yeah,
a base to yeah, just help build my website from.
that's awesome. I've been on your website and I've looked at a bunch of the different stuff that you can get into. But for those who haven't gone to your website or who have an interest to go to your website, what can they see on your website or what can they learn?
Okay, so on my website, I like to it's catered towards more so beginners or drummers who don't know, who haven't found their sound, or drummers who really know what they want yet.
Mhm.
If you're like an upcoming drummer or you're even looking to get started into drums, you'll find a wealth of information, how-to guides, like kind of my gear recommendations, news, like within the drumming world, all this kind of stuff that you might not know anything about. And that way you'll get an honest, experienced drummer's perspective on all this types of stuff. I want to make it as beginner friendly as possible and just share honest, unbiased opinions with regards to how to get started playing drums, what's the best way to practice drums, how to get better, who like, even I like writing pieces on just motivation and helping you become the best drummer you can be, because like that's what I enjoy doing. And I've found that I've made my own mistakes, and I've really found some things have really helped me, like some certain methods or tips or tricks have helped maybe come on leaps and bounds, whereas other things might not have. So in that way, I'm just kind of sharing it, all of it. I've got hundreds of articles on the site. Feel free to check out all of it. It's all written by me. That's Drum Helper.
I love it. I like that it's really honest too. And the fact that you are a musician yourself is really, really important, I feel, because, for me, I run my website alone. But the only difference between you and me is I'm not a musician. So I can only go so far into my analyses of, of music or certain live shows. But for a musician, it's different because they know what actually goes into it. I've never played an instrument successfully long enough to say that I know how things work. I know it well enough to be able to write a review. But I don't know it to the extent that you guys know it. So I think that the fact that you are a musician giving honest opinions, advice, anything is really key,
I find that so interesting that you've got such a passion and interest in music. Almost like I feel like you see it from the other side, like being a musician, it's like I see music I feel like everyone must see music in their own way, but from like a drummer's perspective, I'll see positives, flaws. I'm almost like I've always got like a critical, analytical view of music.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's good because I feel like I can really appreciate good things more and not appreciate bad things. So like in that way of like, you're not a musician. How would you be able to kind of like, how do you tell what's like a really great performance or like what isn't? I suppose in that way, that's like freeing you. That's quite liberating. Like,
yeah, it's so I definitely take a very unique approach to any analysis that I do. I look at it more emotionally and stylistically. If it moves me in a very specific way, I will cover it. And it could be, like a very happy way or a very negative way, but an intense emotion is what drives me to cover it.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because I feel like music is supposed to be cathartic for both, the musicians and the fans. And I kind of feel like people don't cover the emotional basis to music anymore. It's all about, the technicality of everything. And while that is important, the emotion and the feelings and the time and the lyrics that go into it are also very important. So that's how I cover.
Completely.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Like,
Yeah.
something I've been doing lockdown is writing music myself. And I
Yeah.
haven't actually had the opportunity or time or even confidence to write music myself like this.
Mhm.
So I'm completely with you. When it
Yeah.
comes to drums, I'm very, like I'm very focused on technique. I'm very focused on dynamics and like a
Mhm.
sound. But when it comes to writing music, I literally don't care about technicality or like doing anything for the sake of it. It's all the emotion. It's all about how the music moves me, how it makes me feel, and like the impression I want to give to someone when I'm telling a story through music. That's it, 100%. But when it comes to just an instrument, like then it becomes more of like a virtuoso dynamic. You can enter this space where it's almost like competitive.
Yeah.
Like drummers look at like when drummers will like consider other drummers, it's very much focused on the playing style, the technique, the speed,
Yeah.
or like the precision. There's so many things, but just writing music, I'm literally all that goes out the window. And that's really awesome because I like not having that in mind as well, like having more creative freedom to
Yeah.
put together the music that I feel like represents how I'm feeling, or what's kind of like going on, whether it's like a story or real, like whether it's something that I made up, like I might have a story in mind about a situation that's, or just something that's based off real life. But in that way, I just enjoy like writing this music and
Yeah.
not caring about whether it's like heavy enough or whether it's
Yeah.
there's a like technical enough. I'm into a lot of heavy music, and I
Right.
like heavy bands, but
Mhm.
like I've stopped enjoying bands that I used to feel were just the heaviest or the
Yeah.
most, technical death metal or whatever it was. That's just gone out the window for me now. I don't really care about that at all. It's just
Yeah.
the songwriting, the composition. That's it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. My personal favorite genre is metal, but for metal, I feel like it can be a struggle for some artists due to the whole subgenre thing that we've got going on. There's just too many, and I talk to a lot of bands that are often confused. They're like, I don't know what subgenre I am with my music, and I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you shouldn't need to pay
Right.
attention to it. Like, yeah, you only really need that to really describe who you are for promotion purposes. But like when it comes to you making music and putting it out there, it doesn't matter. Like just make music that you feel comfortable making. If you started out as, I don't know, a death metal band and now you're like some sort of pop punk band, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It just means that you've evolved in some different way. Yeah, I think that it can get a bit muddy now.
I feel like marketing comes into it, and that's the reason. Like
Yeah.
bands and artists want to, they want to be scouted by a particular label. They want to be scouted, and they want to like play as a support tour for a band and they've got to fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. But at the end of the day, from my own experience, I found that this type of thinking doesn't actually result in like any more of like your band being a success. I think ultimately
Right.
you're right. It does just boil down to the songs and like
Yeah.
the music itself. Who cares if you're a progressive technical
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
deathcore band or whether you're a
Right.
melodic hardcore band infused with fusion. It doesn't matter. Like just
Yeah.
the songs. That's it. Like I don't even know what the music I'm making is, whether it's any good. I don't know. I'm writing it because I like it. But I'm
That's all
taking
that
influence
matters.
from I'm taking influence from literally like film soundtracks, like James Newton Howard, who did the scores for like Hunger Games and The
That's awesome.
Huntsman, and like that is
Yeah.
literally like my favorite music right now. Interesting, not even drums. Like drums is more percussion and it's more
Yeah.
sparse, but like I'm taking influence from that, and that's pretty much it. I just want to create like soundscapes and create like a real raw emotion feeling. I'm also
Yeah.
taking it from like dance music. I don't know. It's more than it's just like this is a dance section or like
Mhm.
here's that beat. It's just like I don't know how I just want it to all feel
Mhm.
as a listener.
Absolutely. I completely get you. And honestly, like right now, this is the perfect time for you to experiment in like literally anything. Like, so I think that that's awesome that you're getting to do that.
Totally. I
Um,
wouldn't have really had this opportunity if it wasn't for the lockdown or the pandemic, which
yeah.
makes it crazy because it's like, wow, I'm actually drawing something positive
Yeah.
from this awful stuff going on. But I mean, my band actually split up around December time. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, if my band ever was to split up, I feel like that is the time. Like we had no clue any of this stuff was going to happen.
Yeah.
But, in that way, we haven't had to deal with a whole bunch of postponed tours and manager retainers and stuff whilst this
Right.
stuff is going on. I've felt like I've had some time to clear my head and really think about what I want to do creatively, and now I've had this opportunity to explore that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm gonna assume you're talking about Familiar Spirit when you say your band
Yes,
split up.
yes.
Are you guys, planning on getting back together after this happens or goes away, or are you just gonna, stay split up?
We're good friends. Jacob, who's the guitarist, is actually involved in this new musical project with me. So lots of
Awesome.
fans have been asking, what's going to happen? Are you any of you involved musically? And we just haven't put anything out, and it's all been very low key. We've
Right.
literally just been taking this time to ourselves to just focus on making music, like without pressures or without anything, without, as anyone in the band will admit, like it's not just about making it. Even if
Yeah.
bands, get to like a great level where they've got like a record label and, they're on like a top
Hmm.
management booking agency and stuff, you've also got
Yeah.
to maintain that for a long time. And it's not just like you're out of the woods, you've got to keep up that fan base, that hype. And every release is, what if it doesn't exceed the previous figures on Spotify and YouTube and all that sort of stuff? There's always that sort of pressure because it's a business, it's an
Yeah.
industry. But
Absolutely.
honestly, it's been the most liberating thing now, just writing music, just because I like the music.
That's
And
awesome.
it's been great with Jacob as well. We're equally passionate about the music,
Yeah.
and he really helps bring to life. Like he's a phenomenal guitarist, and he's
Yeah.
much better with the sound design and the mixing side of
Mhm.
things. So it kind of works. So it's like, either me or him will have an idea,
Mhm.
and then we kind of play off each other,
Yeah.
building the song together. But it's been great, and at this rate, this is just going to be the foreseeable future for what we're going to do creatively.
It's to my understanding that with Familiar Spirit, you guys were able to tour and play festivals. What was it like being on stage, playing in front of people, screaming at you and enjoying your music?
It's so fun, like there's a lot of awkward things about touring as
Mhm.
well. You've got to be away from people you care about for a long time. Equally, you are with people you care about. You're with your band or whatever.
Yeah.
But you do have to make you've got to travel. Well, we toured Europe. We traveled something like 18,000 miles or something. It was just crazy. It was
That is
intense,
crazy.
but it
Yeah.
was awesome. It was so awesome. And whether there was 10, 50, 100,
Hmm.
500 people, just seeing people that have like made it out to hear your music and like buy your merch
Hmm.
and give you their time, that makes it worthwhile. Like people that love your music
Right.
and you give them that back in return. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine. That's awesome. Um, you know, Going back to Drum Helper, I know that there's a tutorial on how to record, your own drum covers or a drum playthrough video
Yeah.
in general, um, which includes a video of you covering a song. So we're going to talk about you covering songs for a second. What was the first song you ever covered?
It's a great question. The first song I ever covered, you won't believe this, is actually my most viewed YouTube video.
Yeah.
It was Avicii, rest in peace, legend.
Yeah.
His song Levels. Do you know if you know it?
Yeah, good song. Very
Yeah,
good song. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe I should do it. It's like da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na. That's the one.
Yeah.
So like I just did that on like my dad's like little Lumix. No, it was like a little Canon like camera, like 4 megapixels or something, and I had like a little Zoom H2 stereo recorder.
Yeah.
Set it up, and I literally just put it up on YouTube, and it got like 40,000 views in like a week. And I don't even know how or why, but like people loved it, and I think that's really interesting and cool. Even now, when I do covers, it's just like, oh come on, like I got 40,000 views then, like, I can do it now, like.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and like no one forced me to do this stuff. Like I just really wanted to just challenge myself to like learn a song, put it up, and hope people will like it. And nothing's changed.
Do you have any ideas on what the next song you're gonna cover gonna be?
Yeah, you actually reminded me. I kind of forgot, but this Sunday I'm actually recording a Children of Bodom drum cover
Ah, nice. Nice.
because I love that band, and
Hmm.
Alexi Alejo got me into heavy music, and I owe it to him. So
Yep. It's a good thing to do.
yeah, I might do two. I kind of can't choose what song I'm gonna do. I'm doing it on Sunday. I don't even know what song I'm gonna do yet, but I'm gonna do it, and it'll be good. So I'm thinking about doing either Bodom After Midnight or Every Time I Die from Follow the Reaper,
Yep.
because Hatebreeder and Follow the Reaper are my two favorite records by them. They've been on repeat for about 4 weeks. I'm not joking. They've literally been on repeat ever since he passed, and uh, I'm dealing with it okay. I'm dealing with it all right.
Right.
So yeah, that's a band that I first heard them when I must have been about 13 or 14,
Nice.
and I've always been a big fan of that band. So yeah,
I think it's awesome that you're gonna cover one of their songs. Well, to close out this interview, I'm gonna ask you one last question, and that
shoot.
is, what is some advice you wish somebody told you? Getting into this whole music scene, even when you were really young. What is something you wish somebody told you?
Got it straight away. Don't care about what other people think, just as
Yeah.
long as you're doing it for yourself, as long as you enjoy it, you can really stress yourself out being concerned about like how popular something might get you, or whether people are really gonna enjoy it more so than that other band, or you can really start to like compare yourself to others and stuff. But ultimately, you're an individual. Your music's individual, whether you're whether you're a musician, you're completely unique. So don't compare to other people, just focus on you, do what you enjoy, and just love it. I think that's it. I think that's so important. Focus on the now and what drives you to spend time playing the drums or writing music, whatever it is. And it's not healthy to compare yourself to other people, because there's always going to be a band that's more technical. There's always going to be a drummer that's faster. There's always going to be a singer that's better. There's always going to be someone with a better tone. That's not the healthy way to approach things, like as a musician. It's just, you're totally unique. No one can play the drums like you. No one can write the music you do. It is very special because it's totally unique. And I think that's a very important piece of advice.
Hey guys, it's a SoundChick here again. I hope you enjoyed the interview with the founder of Drum Helper, Gideon Waxman, today. If you would like to view the Drum Helper blog, you can go to drumhelper.com. As mentioned previously, you can watch tutorials, read insightful articles, and news there. Definitely check it out. It's really cool and insightful. As always, I enjoyed having you on this broadcast, and I look forward to having you on the next one. If you would like to stay up to date on news regarding my artist interviews or music reviews, please make sure to follow me on my social media accounts. For Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Real SoundChick, or on Facebook at The SoundChick. This is a great place to see all of the updates and all of the stuff that I'm doing right now on my website. I look forward to meeting and chatting with each and every one of you there. As always, rock on, my dudes.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the interview subject belong solely to themselves and not necessarily the SoundChick or its sponsors. We thank you for tuning in and look forward to seeing you on the next broadcast.